Tell me, are you ready to find your weird way? Weird was a concept that was spoken of long ago. It meant fate, it meant destiny, it meant your path in life. I'm your host, Dean Bentley, and I am here to explore how you can connect to your own path in life, to know the essence of your own soul, to connect to that single spark that lives within the deepest recesses of your being that says, this is why I am here, to go beyond the limitations, the constrictions of the modern world, and open you to the possibilities and the potentiality of what is possible within this world. Join me as we dive deep on the Wyrd Way. Welcome back, Wyrd Wayers. Firstly, I just want to say thank you all so much. I've been getting a lot of feedback from this new season of the Wyrd Way, and it's really filled me up hearing what people have been sharing, the reflections, and so I just want to take some time to say thank you. This podcast is such a passion project of mine, and then to be sharing it with you all and then having people just share like what's landed for them or what's hit them or just sharing it with their friends and it coming back around has felt really, really beautiful. So thank you all. It continues to help fuel this, and it just feeds more love back into this community and those of you that listen. So for all you who have shared, for all you who have like shared it with a friend or shared like what's landed personally with myself or a friend and it's made its way back to me. Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be able to have a platform and share and speak on some of these ideas and concepts, some of which I'm exploring for myself in these conversations. Like one of the things that I love about this is that in the process of creation, I get to explore what this means for me, what this associates to me, and actually find out so much of more of like what I believe and what nuances and conversations need to happen so I can deepen, and also highlight in the parts of myself that are still in ignorance or doesn't have awareness around certain situations. So it's been such a privilege to be able to create this and for this to continue to bloom and grow and just sowing more and more seeds for the future and what gets to be created. So thank you all so, so much. I'm excited to dive into another episode of the Wyrd Way. Yes, that was a little burp. These are pretty raw. And I was just driving here to get set up, and I had no idea where I was going to go today as I dropped in. It's been one of my commitments that I'm recording a podcast weekly and releasing it so we can just maintain that momentum. And I was like, oh, what wants to be created today? What wants to give birth? And one of these things is I'm not forcing this. I don't want to come in with a script and say, this is what it needs to be, or this is what I need to talk about. A lot of this process has been the unraveling of that condition and that says, I need to know. And if there, any of you all out there are being like, I need to know how it all works, just an invitation to let go for a little while and trust what wants to emerge because there's such a creative genius when we actually allow, our ego and our identity structures to fall away so we can actually meet what is happening in this moment and create from this place. So that's the invitation. It's what I'm jamming on this podcast. And as I was dropping in, it was like, oh, what is alive? And I've been having this experience where often there's a part of me that has very high levels of awareness that can map out, okay, this is happening and this energy is alive because I need to do this, or because this part of me, or this wound, or this trigger is active, and so and so. And in that awareness, there's a bit of a dissociation that happens in the physical. It's like, well, because I know that, I don't need to go through the conversation. And this is where we can use awareness to bypass what is actually here rather than meeting what is true for ourselves and having the conversations that can feel icky or murky or difficult because they're needed. And this is how we actually get energy to move. So what can happen is If you're someone who has a lot of awareness or likes to have a lot of mental awareness, who like, oh, I can think about all the different situations and how this might play out or where this might go and how this person might react and what this is, and live in that very mental mind space, what it can do is increase awareness of like possibilities where you're coming from in this situation, your own woundings, and why you're doing this, and oh, where that thought came from, and why that energy is alive with you, which is all beautiful. It's all beautiful to really consider these things. And I really suggest that for a lot of people, this is a great starting spot to begin to cultivate awareness. But what can happen is that we can begin to use that awareness as a means to bypass ourselves, to be like, well, I know that is triggered from this and that. And so I don't actually have to share that. And in that, it creates a dissociation from what is happening here, from this moment of life. And there's actually the healing required of allowing that energy to move through your system by bringing that energy into a space, generally a relationship. And when I say relationship, I mean a dynamic that could be between you, a friend, family, a partner, whatever it is, but where it can be witnessed by another human. So the energy is like, oh, I'm safe. And this is something that Dewey Freeman talks about a lot, is that we were wounded in relationship, so we need to heal in relationship as well. And when we're operating from this mind space of, I know everything and I've got it all figured out and I know all the pieces, it doesn't let the current or the energy of life flow. We stay in a very mental space. And the problem here is we don't begin to descend into life. And this is where a lot of control is asked to be loosened. There's a lot of control that happens in our mind where we don't actually share the inner process with someone that we care about or that requires vulnerability. When we don't let them in, it's like, oh, I can stay in my head and intellectualize and understand, but I can't live it. So when we actually move that energy into the world, we're asked to live. And this means surrendering to the part of us that wants to control, to know what the outcome will be. And this is the disillusionment that can happen because if we're living in our mind, we don't know actually what's going to happen. We believe we know. We say, well, if I do that, this situation is going to occur. Or they might say that, or this one, or that, or that, but we never have true awareness of what is going to happen. It doesn't actually, we don't know because we're not living in the known reality. We're making up stories in our own mind and it keeps us distant from life. And this is the ego's desire to protect itself, especially if this has been your default state. It finds it very difficult to enter into life because it's like, I don't want people getting too close. I might get hurt. It might be too vulnerable. I might be too much. What is everyone going to think? So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to protect myself and close off and just pretend I can work it all out in my own mind. And that's the trap. That's the protection mechanism. And the ego has many different protection mechanisms uh, that play in different ways. And one of the things that is important to do is begin to bring awareness to what yours are. And this may be the dissociation that happens when you go into your mind. It's like, oh, I'm safe in here. And what this is a closing of the energy field, a closing of the heart. And it's like locks itself away because it got taught that life is dangerous, that there is pain in life, that, and if you're in life, it will hurt you or harm you. And so for a lot of people, it's like, I'm not going to open, I'm not going to let trust in, I'm not going to surrender to the part of me that wants to move, and I'm going to intellectualize or I'm going to live in the spiritual awareness of, I know this is why, but I'm not going to bring that down into reality. And this is the final step that needs to occur for actual healing. It requires it. Yes, you can process a lot on your own and you can do a lot of work by yourself. But the integration that occurs is when you're able to share that with another human. This is how you move it from mental to an embodiment. This is how your system realizes that it's actually safe to have this process and you can drop deeper into yourself. This is calling your soul into your body and allowing it to express through you. And you may know, oh, I know that once I say this, and this is a thing, so many people want to be like, this is my truth. This is my truth, and my truth is set and certain, and I know exactly what it is. But your truth is going to change. It's going to change over time and develop into something else. And as soon as you say what you believe your truth may be, it could change into something else because a part of you that hadn't been witnessed was witnessed. And now it's like, oh, I can move, I can shift, I can change into what my truer truth can and is. And this is the deception that occurs. We believe and we can get stuck in the ideology that truth is certain, it's set, this is it. But truth is a living current that will continue to emerge. And as you enter into it, it will ask you to go deeper and deeper to reveal more and more layers. And without this, it creates stagnation and disconnection because it's like, well, I'm not touching on that because I'm afraid that something might live in there that I believe is unlovable. And this is where we close off. This is the barriers that we have inside our own heart that is protecting us from different people. It's like, ooh, I can't share that. I'm not ready to share that. And it's like, that may be true. And this is to acknowledge that this healing process takes time and there's more and more layers for us to move through. And if you're like, I need to rip myself apart, maybe. Or maybe you need the gentleness and the safety bit of like, hey, it's okay to take a little bit of time to open. If you're in relationship and you're wanting to open to something, been like, hey, I'm feeling really vulnerable. I'm really raw here. I don't know how to open to this, but I want to. And a part of me is feeling really unsafe. Like we get to acknowledge the process. What a lot of people can try and do is bypass this. It's like, well, I know there's a deeper layer, so I'm just going to rip it open. And it's like that can re traumatize us. It can create more wounds because there's a part of us that we missed along the way that said, hey, I'm actually really scared right now. I'm not feeling like I can open. I know I desire to, but I'm really scared and I don't know how to move beyond that. And that is a beautiful acknowledgement of truth. And saying that, experiencing that, and allowing yourself to be seen in that can create that open and new desire for the next layer. It's the acknowledgement of that level of truth. It's like, I know there's more. I know there's more depth, and I know there's probably something else here, but I don't know what it is right now. And just owning and acknowledging that is one of the most beautiful things you have to do. There's this current that is running within the collective space around healing where it's like, I need to know it all or I need to be it all straight away. And this is one of the wounds of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. It's like, well, if I can just do it all right now, then maybe I can be loved. But it's actually coming from a place of hurt. And it's not helpful. It's actually harmful to continue to play that out and not acknowledge the process. We need the time to be like, hey, this is my experience right now. And wherever that is, if you can connect to the fundamental truth and speak that of what it is right now for you, it's going to allow you to settle into yourself in a deeper level. It's going to allow parts of yourself to feel safe. Because what happens is truth is presence. It's the seeing of ourselves. It's the acknowledgement of where we are and bringing that to the world. Most of us have been conditioned that this isn't welcome, that this isn't good enough. But when we actually begin to open and share that, our system's like, oh my God, I'm enough. Where I am is enough. I don't need to do more healing or figure it all out or have better language or communication. It's like, this is enough. And it's a paradox because some of us don't even know how to communicate that at the start of like, hey, I'm feeling something and I don't know what to do with it. Like that's a beautiful level of authenticity. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do here. I want intimacy, but I don't know what to do. Like that is a beautiful level of truth. There can be this intent to know it all or know what you should do or know how to create it. But maybe being in the not knowing and really honoring that process is what's going to give you the ability to take a step forward, to be like, okay, I actually don't know how to navigate this. And that should be the case for a lot of this because you should be entering into new territory. This is how you enter the unknown. It's not through the same programming that you've had before that says, hey, this is how you do it and you should know it all. And like, That's my own ego protector. It's like, I should have known. I should know it all. And many of us have that because we're in the information age where it's like, you can know anything. So not knowing is seen as a weakness. But that is a beautiful crack in the vulnerability, in the armor that can let someone into your heart. Be like, hey, I actually don't know, what to do right now. I'm desiring this, but I don't know how to create it. And to acknowledge those things creates a space and the opening for something different, for the possibility. And this is how we actually begin to just honor the fundamental self, not the higher self, not the like self who is infinite, all these other things. It's like, hey, like, let's get familiar with the human that you are right now and begin to allow that into spaces so it can actually begin to heal. Because it's like, yes, the human experience right now is pretty wild. Most of us, all of us, are trying to figure out what the hell is happening and how we can live in a world that is changing and shifting so rapidly with massive things happening on a global scale. And we're like, how do we navigate that? How can I do good? Like, what's my role? Where's my purpose? We're trying to figure it all out. And it's okay that you don't know some things, that you don't have all the answers. What a beautiful opportunity to learn instead of being like, I know it all. You're like, hey, I don't know it. I don't know what this is, or I don't know how to operate, or I don't know what this is, or this is true for me right now. I'm open to this changing, but this is true for me right now. And what this does, it allows you to descend into the actual journey of your life. And this is so rich. It allows you to be here. Too many of us are trying to plan all the next stages, the whole life, and figure it all out, and we miss the fundamental beauty of being here right now. And it's like, that comes in when you allow what is here to be here. You're feeling anxious? Stop trying to fix yourself. Let yourself feel anxious. You're terrified. Be terrified. You're in love. Let yourself be in love. You know fear is around the corner and something's happening. Let it be here. Like, yes, we're here to alchemize and shift and change and grow. But a lot of that is a natural process when you surrender into yourself. Like, a lot of this work isn't about doing more, it's actually about being and coming into relationship to your natural process. At a fundamental level, humans have an incredible ability to heal, to alchemize, to shift, to transform. It's our natural way of life. It's the conditioning that says you have to be more, that you need to do more, all these things that is actually what's stopping us from sitting deeper into ourselves where naturally we will rise. We're like little flowers that are trying to grow. I shared in a workshop last week, you can't pull up a flower and yell at it and be like, grow, grow, grow more. It's not going to work. It's like, no, you need to lovingly tend to it so it can grow and be brighter and more healthy, tend to the soil, increase all the microorganisms, tend to it so it has a really healthy environment to thrive. It's the same with ourselves. We are nature. How does nature grow in its optimal state? When the environment is optimal, when it's got a healthy environment, an ecosystem with connection and different elements of itself all around. It's like, this really helps it grow. So we actually need to descend into what is here. Yes, envision, create, have a dream, move towards something. And in the process, let yourself be here. If you're dreaming and you feel overwhelmed, be like, I'm overwhelmed right now. I don't know how to create this. Great. What a beautiful opening into yourself. It's like, I don't know. And what this does is opens you up to the intelligence of life. Because if you're changing life in such a pivotal way that you haven't gone down that path before, you shouldn't know. You shouldn't know how to create it yet, because otherwise you would already be doing it. So, can you open to the natural intelligence of life and of yourself and trust that you are being guided towards what's going to shift and change and allow you to grow into that? Because without that, or you're going to be seeking to control and manipulate the world around you because you'll believe you'll know what's best. Oh, I know I need to do this, or I know I need to do that. Do you actually? Is that just what everyone's told you? Everyone else who you believe have done it, who might not actually be there, who have an infinite number of opinions because we're in this state where everyone should know everything and we should really fucking know it all. It's like, hey, no, just let yourself like start to figure it out, see what works, see what doesn't, play, test, experiment, determine for yourself, discern what is true and applicable to yourself, because this is what's going to allow you to have a greater sense of self so you can actually create what you're here to create. So, this is my invitation for you this week. Drop into life. Let yourself be where you are. If you're trying to create and you don't know what to do, own that. If you're in relationship and you're struggling, own that. Like, fucking own where you are. Be like, this is my life right now. Cool. This is acceptance. This is acknowledgement of truth. And from there, you can begin to build. So, Weird Ways, thank you all so much for joining me. If this episode landed, please share what's landed for you. Share it on Instagram, tag me, let me know what really like spoke to you in this. I love reading that. And just for those of you who are still interested, I'm choking at the end here, not because of what I'm sharing, just because my throat is very dry. The Edge workshop is happening next week. We've already got 6, 7 men booked in, and I'm bloody excited to have them all and drop deeper. You can find all that information in the show notes. It's a workshop for men to really meet the edges of the self and expand beyond it, finding out, oh, there's so much more than the egos and the limitations of the self. And for those of you who are interested, my mentorship is still open. I've got 2 more spots available for that, where I work one on one with people to really dive into the deeper layers of self and deconstruct the limiting perceptions of who they believe they have to be, and then reconstruct that in a way that's more aligned with their soul and what they're here to do. And so, if you're interested in that, please reach out, let me know why you're interested, and we can have a conversation about that. It's something that I continue to love and continue to love serving. So if you're interested, let me know. Let's have a chat, and I'll see you all soon. Dean Bentley on the Wyrd Way, signing out.